Uh, Amir, you can change the topic or ask questions. That is literally generic titles. It might as well just be called BoredGamer Talks About Star Citizen. But I hope to, you know, help guide the conversation. And I care what people want to talk about and people's opinions. It's all good. I appreciate the people defending me, but there's no need to. So thank you. You know, it's all good. I'll be here in a couple of minutes. So I said I was going to stream at 4 today, and I am. Wait, we are now. Oh, I'll tell you in a minute. In a minute. Oh, I'm gonna do a weird referral flex in a minute, Mac Unknown. Don't you worry. You're gonna get some weird flexes today. Right, let's just weird flex right now. Why not? They call me King Weird Flex. Yeah. Alright, let's do that. Do that. Perfect. Looks good. Sound good. Hi, I'm BoredGamer. I'm wearing glasses and I'm beautiful. And you can be beautiful too by using skincare products for men. No, I haven't got skincare products for men. That's probably the thing that's doing the worst at the moment, is the beauty scene on YouTube, because no one's allowed to leave their house to see how beautiful you are. They can stay inside. Basically, I would love to get some beautiful makeup that makes you look beautiful in front of a camera. That can make a potato, maybe like a potato peeler or something, such as myself, look a bit prettier. But how is everyone doing? I hope you are all right. We are still waiting on 3.9 to go to first wave PTU, and it causes pain to my soul. So, content-wise, video-wise, there are some leaks I can talk about that are non-EVOCATI leaks to do with like things like Xenothreat. But so some of this is a bit spoilery. So I might do some videos on that and just give it the spoiler warning. And talk about those things that we're going to get in the future when we have the pyro system, or potentially even before that, like mission chains and stuff like that, and talk a little bit more about the Idris and the Idris mission. So we do some videos and stuff like that throughout the week. There's lots of features we can probably look at PIG's current goals for boosts. There's lots of stuff we can do from the Thingamajig magazine, Jump Point magazine. Lots of stuff there. Yeah, so Weird Flex. I was saying Weird Flex a minute ago. Mac Unknown, who's going to unseat BoredGamer from the top 5 referral program? So, obviously I want to be number 1 on that, sort of, not really. But getting 2,000 and around 2,000 referrals got your javelin, yeah? But there's no need to actually be above 2,000. So when I hit 2,000, and I think I was the first person to hit 2,000, I then just started giving all my referrals to my Patreons. And I've got a randomizer for referrals, and I just give them all to my Patreons. And I have for the last however many years. So that's my weird referral flex, is you're saying he's going to unseat me from the top 5. Who's going to be inefficient with their referrals and not give them to their friends? Boom! Weird flex. Love heart. Because I love you. I've got a bit weird today. I probably haven't lost any more weight because I've been eating quite badly recently. And by badly, I mean probably quite well. If I was like an opulent king, I've been munching on a lot of food. Om nom 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 nom. So I'll try and get better at that. Been a bit stressed, obviously health issues with my father, but also you can see that I haven't shaved I've got a bit of a neck beard going on. I haven't really like trimmed my beard at all. Might grow a beard, who knows? We'll test it in lockdown. But my dad he moves stuff around and just like disappears. Okay, so he's got hold of my beard trimmer. Gone. Can't shave my hair. So now I'm going to start to look like a monk. I'm going to get hair around here, but not here. And my beard's just going to go and look really weird and sporadic and ginger. He's a monster. He's a monster. When I get old, I hope that I am equally disruptive to people's lives. I love my dad, though. That is me taking the piss and making light of everything that's happening. I did get someone just before I started streaming on Reddit saying, BoredGamer, please speak more fluently and less staccato on the Star Citizen Reddit. And it's just basically saying it's a concerned troll post, almost certainly, with a high degree of likelihood. But I treat them all sort of like as if they're genuine questions. I said, this is not an appropriate place to post a question to me. And message me directly, or comment on one of my videos and I'll read it and I'll take it on board. But I'm not going to change the way I speak. That's a silly thing to say. But sorry for any inconvenience. And then they just sort of like go off on a tangent and just start replying to other random people and saying they're not going to watch my stuff anymore because they can't take criticism. And that, I know it's a troll, but it's a bad troll. Okay, I appreciate good levels of trolling. When I go on this SC like refunds group, or I see some of the shit posts online, they're quality shit posts, or sometimes they've got good points. But not liking the way I speak, and then when I say this isn't an appropriate place to do that, but thanks, and I'm not going to change the way I speak, then just addressing other people and going, you guys can't take criticism. That's not a good troll. Okay, better effort, please. Also, take the piss out of the way I look, or I mean, and if you don't want to go for ad hominem, or just go take the piss out of my editing style, which is the lowest effort of anyone ever that's existed. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well though. I very much appreciated all the people that came to my defense on there. Well, I didn't realize so many people liked me on the Reddit. I avoid the Star Citizen Reddit because I don't want to post my stuff up on there because people know where to find me. It's on the YouTube. I don't think that the Star Citizen Reddit should be used to advertise people's channels, and I don't think, and even if it was, I don't think me spamming my content on there would be appropriate. I do post my content on like the Facebook groups. I literally got asked by the mods to do that, and when I didn't do that, people would poke me saying, "Oh, you were right. You're not posting your content up here." So I do occasionally post my content up on the Facebook groups for Star Citizen and Star Citizen UK and the Ready Player One. But if anyone would like to ask a question about anything Star Citizen or just a question in brackets and then your question, it doesn't have to be about Star Citizen. It can be about me. It can be about lockdown life. It can be about my dad or whatever. I'll try and answer. If you want to just change to a more general topic in brackets, try to be civil. If anyone is talking around about stuff. Asamir, question. I have a question. If you want to use a ship in shift to keep it going, what will happen if the owner logs out? Does it disappear, or can you transport ownership? And what will happen to the second ship if the first one gets destroyed? The idea is eventually you should be able to share your ships with people and give them permissions to use them, and permissions to use your ship at different times and stuff like that. So the sort of like end goal of that is that you only have one ship still. Like if it's in someone else's possession, you won't be able to spawn it. It's literally in the location it's in, if you see what I mean. In the short term, you could log in, put a ship in, someone else could get in your ship, you could log off. The ship should stay there. It might not. Star Citizen is very much alpha, and then you could technically spawn it in another server, and you'd be fine. But if you try to spawn it again, same server, you'd have to make a claim for it first, and that could make that person a criminal, but also can have some unintended side effects of despawning the ship as well if it doesn't make them a criminal, things like that. So bear that in mind. I want to buy a cheap ship for me as an explorer captain. What can I grab? I mean, you can just grab a Mustang Alpha and then rent or buy a ship later. The 315p is a good solo explorer, or at least will be eventually when we've got more of the exploring mechanics in game. If you're looking for something a bit bigger, you will be able to sort of like upgrade ships to be a bit more focused at exploration in the future. Really, you want something that's got a bed, but ships like if you want to go for a medium size sort of one, something like the Corsair or the Constellation Aquila is very good. It depends on how much you want to spend, but you can get it all in game. And at the moment, when Star Citizen doesn't have mechanics to support proper exploration yet, it's probably worth just playing the game as is at the moment with a starter package, and seeing what ships you can rent in game and seeing what you like. This is sort of my 2 cents there, as you asked for it. Yeah, the reasons. So titles-wise, you'll see. So I don't know if people are aware of sort of like the mantra. Maybe I'll start putting it at the bottom of my videos in a bit more sort of detail. So I have a mantra for the Star Citizen content I create, which is to try and create neutral, regular content that updates you on the roadmaps and the news and stuff for Star Citizen. So I cover the roadmaps and how they change every couple of months. You'll see like roadmap 4.0, a video from me like 4 or 5 times before it actually goes live. Specifically just about the roadmap and the roadmap changes, and they will have similar titles. Maybe I can have the titles that are a bit more revised, but they have different thumbnails and stuff. The streams as well. The stream titles are just to suggest topics or what I want to talk about typically, but it can literally be about anything. I don't think there's any issue with that. People have a problem with the repetitive stream titles. Sort of irrelevant, it's live. I'm doing all right, thank you very much. A little bit stressed at home because I'm looking after my dad, although at the moment my dad's doing pretty well, and he's on a steroid, so he's doing okay. It's rough and it's upsetting, and it's very upsetting for my mum, obviously, but we've still got him at the moment, so it's tiring, but it's the main thing. Why don't you have a podcast like call-in public discussion show like Salty Mike and Astropub? Just not your thing? I probably will in the future. I'm just not very organised for that sort of thing. Zin's going to be working for me soon. I'll start to steal other YouTubers and content creators' ideas like that. I will definitely be looking at Morphologist's style of getting B-roll and good camera shots. I'll be looking at people's like Subliminal and Morphologist's sort of like production values, adding things into videos. You always try and improve aspirationally towards things that you like. But I'll be looking at those things. I won't be taking them directly or anything, but I'll be going, I like this, let's develop that. Or Zin, try and edit in this style. Bam. So there's lots of people that inspire me to do much better stuff. I just, I'm super low effort. I think that one of the reasons I'm able to pump out content and just focus on research is because my editing is pretty basic. I don't claim to be a master of getting great footage, but I want to start doing a lot more in game and playing the game a lot more. But yes, I want to do a podcast, and I like the idea of having a very interactive podcast or shows and streams with the audience, viewers and subs and that sort of stuff, getting really involved. We should have Tessa Bannister again at some point. Yeah, so we're still waiting on 3.9 to go to first wave PTU. So more officially, Xylo and some other people, some other devs have talked about on some streams I saw. I think Sorry Mike stream and Astra's pubs as well. They basically said there is decent problems with the 3.9 build at the moment before and they want to solve as many of those as they can. They're focusing on that before they release it to first wave PTU. Are you alright, Flymo? And Gibber Galaxy, question: are you in EVOCATI? Yes. If you are, what can you say about the new Babbage and the prison systems without violating your NDA? Only stuff that you would have seen in Inside Star Citizen and that is public knowledge about those things. I can't talk to you about the specifics of an EVOCATI patch, basically, and the patch notes or anything like that. But new Babbage is a awesome landing zone. You would have seen it in Inside Star Citizen. But it's just a landing zone. It's cool. It's got a load of social areas. It uses the new lighting states, so it changes light states from day to night. So you can have a laser show in Wally's Bar and stuff. There's new items there. There's NPCs running around doing fitness exercises. Starport takes you by high-speed train to the city proper. Player apartment / spawning area at the moment. And there's the more commercial areas, food courts and stuff that should be operational properly in 3.9 as well. It's a cool landing zone. And prisons. Well, the prison system you probably have seen quite a lot, but anyway, you've got a merit system based on your. Let me turn this down even more. You get merits that you have to pay off based on the crimes you committed before you were captured. I say captured, It's in 3.9. It's almost certainly going to be if you are killed by security, and they'll work on getting something a bit better for 4.0 with surrender options and that sort of stuff, and probably bounty hunters. Although bounty hunters maybe count in 3.9, we'll have to wait and see. And the idea is you have to pay those merits off by being logged on in prison. You don't have access to your inventory when you're in prison. It's your normal inventory anyway, so you can't just get out of there. Well, you can, but you have to either escape or pay off those merits. And paying off the merits, you can stay logged in, and you get merits every so often, or you can go and mine under the prison itself and deposit your minerals. It's like a little mineable thing when you come back in. Can't breathe on Aberdeen's surface, so you need oxygen. There's oxygen machines and stuff around. It's going to be interesting gameplay. We'll see how it's all balanced for 3.9 though. Do you think 3.9's delay will lead to remaining updates for 2020 being months behind schedule? No, so basically with staggered development, as I understand it, the team that's working on 4.0 is still working on 4.0. And portions of the 3.9 team, a large part of it, I believe, have already moved on to 4.1, as far as I'm aware. It shouldn't cause much in the way, if any, delays to other patches. It's annoying, though, and I'll probably do a video about this during this week, about the way that CIG do their development is just very stressful because they say stuff and then contradict it. But they sort of like hold both ways of doing it. So what I mean by that is that they'll have, it needs to be polished, but it's an alpha. And sometimes they go, it's an alpha, so we'll just put it in, or it needs to be polished, bam, we're going to hold it back. Okay. And they'll say, we're going to just date-driven, we're going to release, bam, on these dates, and if features don't make it, they don't make it, and we're pushing back. But also, they've said recently again, oh, but we'll hold a patch back if we need to. It's like, okay, well, so it's a little bit erratic, and understandably at the moment, don't get me wrong, I mean, the global situation with CIG working from home and stuff, delays expected, but it's frustrating sometimes. Do you know if CIG have a point defined on the roadmap, however many years that is, at which they expect for people to join, enjoy the game, and continue playing? I think they're just working towards that. They want people to enjoy and play the game now, even though it's in early alpha. I don't think they have a set date for Star Citizen to be completed or anything like that at the moment. They are literally just working towards it. One of the double-edged sword sort of like development techniques that a huge amount of money and a lot of hype has caused for them. I absolutely adore the project. I love Star Citizen on paper. Its development can be sometimes quite frustrating, but other times it's quite refreshing. I do like how interactive they are with the community. I do wish they were a bit more communicative with certain things. But yeah, interesting. Do you think the 3.9 delay will lead to the remaining update? I talked about that. So the reason I chose BoredGamer is because originally I was going to do board games on the channel, which I probably still will, because I buy board games for that very purpose. I just haven't got around to it yet. Also, I get very bored with games very quickly, typically, and originally that was with my content. I will turn through a game and then be sort of done with it. Star Citizen's probably one of the first games. Rust, Star Citizen. They're sort of games I really, really love and enjoy. We'll keep on coming back to. Apex Legends. I am the shiniest head person. That's why they call me Shiny Head Boy. Do you think CIG will ever publish a dev kit, or at least APIs for the community to make mods and add-on software easily? So the Sleep, they said they wanted to support mods and private servers in the future still. I believe that is still the case. I'm not sure to what extent we're going to have mods for Star Citizen and modability and access to APIs and dev kits, but I believe that is still the plan to be able to do mods for it in the future. Yes, almost certainly. but not for a while. On board God, oh dear. I think I'm a sad outlook for anyone that worships me if I'm their god. Unleash BoredGamer unseat morphologist. Oh my god. Morphologist having a referral war. I think it's okay, I tell you what. If they put some bigger rewards on the referral list, I will war towards them. Yeah? Is that okay? Is that what people want? Some form of conflict between YouTubers, no matter how petty it is. Haha, I've got more referrals than you. Do you think 4.0 will be delayed? So I don't think that the current situation and 3.9 being delayed will cause 4.0 to be delayed. I think that they're able to move forward with that. They've staggered development, which means all the teams that should be working on 4.0 should be working on 4.0. And I don't believe it causes a cascade. Do you think they'll make it on time with all the current listed features? Almost certainly we'll see some movement with features there, some added and some moved off to 4.1. I don't think it will be a lot of features moved to 4.1 though. We've got a new editor and now we want some makeup artist. Oh my god. The editor, Zin hasn't started working for me as an editor yet. Probably next week I'll start to get her to do some stuff. She's been playing Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I'm watching it on my side screen at the moment. Absolutely amazing. Final Fantasy 7 Remake, probably going to be best game of 2020, in my opinion. Absolutely fantastic. Looks great. All of the scenes that, if you played it, the original, look what like you wanted them or better. In my opinion, it is a fantastic game, like genuinely fantastic, and a bit silly. Does silly stuff with dancing and some of the rhythm gamey stuff and some of the squats. And yeah, it was amazing. It's amazing everywhere. It's everything I wanted it to be and significantly more. And every time I saw a scene that I was waiting for to happen, how are they going to do it? I was just like, yes. I know you're probably sick of this question. Feel free to ask it. It doesn't matter if I'm sick of it. How am I so beautiful? No. But when do you think we'll see version 1 of Star Citizen, not alpha, beta, or PTU? So I can't answer your question directly because I literally think that it's CIG are going to keep on working on Star Citizen, and they're just going to keep on adding features and moving towards a release. They're not just like indefinitely going to forever development it. Well, they probably are even after release, to be honest. They're probably going to keep on working it for another 10, 15 years in total. But for like a version 1 release, really I can say I think we'll see a feature complete beta in feature complete beta, not full gameplay or anything like that, like 10, 20 systems, maybe in 3-4 years sort of thing. I'll really grind down what I mean by that in the future. I'll have to have a look at it and probably do a little video on it and a bit of a I reckon. Maybe I'll do some I reckon videos and some stuff that way I'd change development or things that I think the game needs. The Sleep super chatted $50. I want a dev kit so I can use a 3D model of your head as a holographic display. I think that should be a thing. I think that the Sleep, I want that. I want that in game. I am going to start at some point talking about being chronically frozen, but I don't want people to think I've gone mad. Any madder than normal. Genuinely, I'm thinking about becoming chronically frozen in the future, and it's gonna be fine. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. That's my wishes now. See if I can get donations to pay for it one day. Something inscribed on me. And I want to get this frozen statue of me in Star Citizen. Oh my god, that'd be so good. Have you heard the Thank You Baked Potato song? No, Honeydew, but I will look for it after the stream. I appreciate people saying I'm beautiful. You are very, very, very misguided and deluded if you think I'm beautiful. But maybe one day we'll make this the new good look. Maybe this is sort of like the lockdown pretty. Yeah, when you can't leave your house, you can be like, actually, I've been prepared for lockdown all my life. I didn't like to leave the house normally. Look at all these people now. I've got one of the most secure jobs in the UK. As well as griefing, will prisons also deliver legit PvP? Huh? So, basically, the prison system is there to deal with various crimes to give them extra risk and reward, as well as deal with certain things, certain unintended or unwanted behaviours. The griefing, for example, pad ramming. Pad ramming can have a really harsh prison sentence if you do it, and fines. And then you find yourself in prison if you do it in a, well, if you do it pretty much anywhere. If you did it sort of like in the Pyro system by Ruin, for a Ruin station, they probably would sort of like not allow you to land there, and lots of missions might be generated to take out the person that's trying to pad ram. Although you wouldn't be able to spawn your ship there if they didn't allow you there, sort of thing. So once you've pad rammed once, for example, at Ruin Station in Pyro, this is a bit of a brain exercise, a theory at the moment. They go, well, you can't spawn there because you pad rammed. They're not going to let you spawn at their station. So you spawn in a different system. You'd have to come back, and then all the guns would shoot at you and everything, and people would be targeting you anyway. So, but in sort of like in the short term, in secure systems like Fountain, you need somewhere to spawn your ship. You respawn, spawn a ship, pad ram someone repeatedly. You're going to be going into prison for like 4 hours a time or something, maybe. I will move my microphone closer to my face, if that helps. Punk 86. I'd be happy for you to kiss the top of my head. You've negotiated consent now for kissing this bad boy. But you see me in real life, just go, hey, Bored, is it still okay to, kiss the top of your head? Because I've had someone grope my ass really hard that I didn't know, okay, and then just say to me after he did it, told you I'd do that. It's all lame. I'm good mate with him now and everything. And then just like, mate, that was weird, okay? You groped me inappropriately. I didn't know who you were. Like, oh. Good morning, everyone. By the way, people are saying good morning and hello and best game of 2020. What about Squadron 42? We don't know if Squadron 42 is going to be released in 2020. Great if it is. What about Cyberpunk? Cyberpunk's not released yet. The Final Fantasy Remake, though, so far is one of the best games I've ever seen. Half-Life Alyx is pretty good. A good year for games, 2020 so far. And rightly so, because everyone is stuck in their houses. Maybe not everyone, but a lot of people. Why haven't they done those server communication updates after the patch? Huh? They're working towards more server updates. You should see a bit more, hopefully dialed in for 3.9 with better server object container streaming stuff, and they're trying to solve desync problems. 4.0 is where you're going to see the better, more robust server-to-actor networking, the downstream code stuff, and additional ways of dealing with rubber banding, desync, delay, all that sort of jazz. So, yeah. Can't believe you gave me so much money this sleep. Thank you so much. That's very much appreciated. Oh, bathing it. When my mate's making me a money cannon to be able to fire money, I suppose. It makes sense, doesn't it? But not to, fatally injure me. Did he just insult someone? It's hard to tell, isn't it? That's what you want when you come away from a conversation and go, "Are you insulting me?" Can't tell. Oh, game. Bring me some good news. I lost my. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Hope you're okay, dude. If you need to reach out in a genuine, normal human fashion, feel free to poke me on Discord or something. I hope you're doing okay. Reach out to humans if you need to talk. That sort of stuff can be devastating. I'm dealing with my dad at the moment, who's end of life. Although he's pretty well today, and we're still waiting for the scan. But yeah, that stuff's fucking hard. And I'm lucky in the way that I've got quite a supportive family and friend network, and I'm able to. I don't feel shame or embarrassment or anything. I'm very open with the way I talk about stuff. I think it's fine to do that. But can't really remember where I was going with this. But I love you, dude. I'm sorry that you have to go through that. I'm able to rationalise sort of grief and stuff much more easily in my head now that I've been dealing with my being bipolar and being anxious. Sort of like the way I sort stuff in my head now is sort of like do as much as you can, and then if you feel the need to cry or be sad or whatever, that's fine, and talk about it and do it. But I don't feel regret about things. Always treat when I spend time with people, I try to treat it like it's the last time I'll spend time with them. So like I trickle my cats a lot when I see them because I sort of like what if they got run over when I that would be the last time I sort of like stroke them. So I always sort of do that with a lot of stuff. I wish I just brought that to my YouTube editing. Maybe do it a bit better if it was less slow effort than I am. But I'm so sorry to hear your loss, bro. Most of us love your face and voice. Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I appreciate that. It's a common phrase in our house. I'm so sorry. We need to make some more interesting BoredGamerisms. Did you play Black Mesa? I haven't played Black Mesa. I know Mark Abent, who's one of the coders for CIG, is part of the Crowbar Collective that made it. Well, I played Black Mesa ages ago, and I've been following it for years. But I watched DC play it through entirely. Not with the latest update to release, but I saw it when they had Zen all done anyway. So I will look at Black Mesa again because I loved Alex so much. Half-Life was absolutely superb. Best VR game so far to date. Followed very closely by Boneworks. Do you think the leader in referrals is getting all legit new players, or is she or he gaming the system? Can you play the Baked Potato song now? No Baked Potato songs for you. I don't know if it's copyrighted or something. Baked potato, I've got a head like a baked potato. Is it something like that? What do you want from me? Okay. Yeah, I think it's legit from Morphologist. So Morphologist has a big glut of people that have not seen Star Citizen from anywhere else other than his videos. And I think at the moment, his last YouTube new player guide is probably the most subscribed to or most watched new player guide. So like beating mine by like 100,000 views. I think it's like 500,000. I will, however, try and make a good one for 3.9 and 4.0 if it warrants it, because they're big for the channel. Trying to get a quick start and a full new player guide. I didn't do one for 3.7, 3.8, I don't think. Maybe I should have. What it is, I didn't do one for 3.8. A guesstimation, they're pushing back docking even more. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'll get docking properly into 4.1 as a combined feature like they wanted to. I think they're getting to the position where they need it for Squadron 42 as well to some extent. With Food Tech in 3.9, will there be a Nandos? There will be something similar to a Nandos, I believe. And you can probably do a winner chicken dinner. I'm hoping they have lots of gamer names for food. Yes, indeed, you can indeed buy food in 3.9. How do you feel about EMPs in game? I think they're a great idea when they're working and balanced properly. We need physicalized components, and we need EMPs not to be broken one way or the other. I want it to be useful, but not, essential. I want it to go, I've disabled your edges with my warlock. Oh, lol. And then fly off after looting everyone. It needs to, have a balance there. I'd also like it that the EMP should probably affect your own ship. Yeah? You can affect your ship less if you've got EMP shielded components. And you should have probably bought and using EMP shielded components because you know you're going to be using an EMP. Also, turning off. I like the idea of redundant systems on EMP ships. You turn off your systems via EMP and then turn on those systems. So, you see what I mean? Typically the answer, not getting killed in Star Citizens to hire escorts. What is the difference between needing an escort to mine solo in a weak prospector versus hiring escorts to avoid pad ram? Well, hiring escorts to avoid pad ramming is a bit different because they wouldn't be able to respond in time pad ramming, would they? So escorts should really be used for escorting you with cargo from a place to another, or just part of a way. So with a prospector, I mean, I might not call in an escort, even if I wanted an escort, until I'd actually have a full load in my ship, or getting close to having a full load, and then I'd do a service beacon requesting combat assistance or whatever. Have you experienced issues with your contact list? Players showing offline that aren't? Yes. Everyone has to relog. Hopefully, with 3.9's updates and unified list, it should be real time and work a lot better. What do you think the endgame gameplay open verse thing will be? Land grab, PvP, system controlled? What do you think? Sort of all stuff in Star Citizen is supposed to be endgame because you're affecting the economy by adding to it, by doing the missions in it, by flying around and trading, whatever. So it's all you're all an important part of the economy. So it's all a little bit important for endgame. But I think a lot of the high level stuff you'll be doing is big, sort of like fleet missions, taking on another big fleet, going out pirate bases, PvP, taking out other people's land claims, and building your own bases. There's probably quite a lot, and I think CIG will explore that gameplay to quite a large extent. I'm really looking forward to a lot of the gameplay they've sort of like already talked about, but there's going to be a huge amount they sort of like develop on the fly as well. When we get 3.9, will you help feed the hungry by leaving food items for people everywhere like Easter eggs? No. I'm going to be eating all that fucking food. I'm going to be putting it into my chops. I might have a look at what food is actually in 3.9 and potentially make a food IRL as well and do some videos on that. With less updates to the Squadron 42 roadmap, no updates to the Squadron 42 roadmap at the moment because they're literally rebuilding it. They've paused the Squadron 42 roadmap, the way they convey it to us. Do you expect an alpha repeat of Squadron 42 this year? I expect them to get to their alpha completed stage this year still. They're still on. Last we heard, they were still on road to having their beta for Q3, although I do think it will be delayed by at least a quarter, that internal beta. It could be delayed longer than that because of the current global situation and, you know, just generally CIG being pretty slow with development. But they should hopefully give us a bit more information soon. Are there any workarounds for NPCs not taking damage in FPS combat? My experience has lately been that they walk into something and get stuck in the walking animation and become motionless. Try using different weapon. Typically that can work. I noticed that snipper rifles were pretty good. When did ginger become synonymous with reddish hair? If you Google ginger, see pictures of very blonde roots. I suppose it is an AMA. Where are you roughly from? The south of England. Topic Planet Tech. So the V4 Planet Tech stuff that they're now building all the planets and moons with looks absolutely fantastic. They are going to evolve it a little bit more, but they're not going to do a V5 Planet Tech or anything like that. They're getting pretty finalized with a lot of their tools and stuff. So bear that in mind. You're going to see probably a few more little updates and tweaks for the planets and moons that are already in the standard system, and they're going to keep on updating all that sort of stuff. It's just a set of tools to allow them to rapidly build out and procedurally assist the universe. Obviously, Pyro, they should be able to build it pretty quickly, and Pyro is a pretty simple system. it's only got one like major landing zone that we're aware of, and they could probably get the whole system out pretty quickly. So, sorry, I've just been slightly distracted by seeing the ending of Final Fantasy VII that Zin's playing. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII, amazing, like genuinely amazing. I'm not sure how close to canon it's going to be from the original, because it looks like it's partly self-aware. It's talking about changing of destiny and things like that. There's interesting stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I think they're making it into a trilogy as well. What will be the first thing you do when 3.9 comes out in real life and in-game? Probably the first thing I'll do, get some quick footage of New Babbage. I'll spawn there, get some footage of it, and then do a patch notes video. Just bam, this is what's in the new update. And then do some tours of any new ships there are. So Prowler, and if there's anything else, and then some location tours, and then look at the new missions. Or now I'll probably look at each of the features quickly. New mission first? You sort of like need to triage what's sensible to do. I might do that in a minute, actually, when I'm done on the stream. Do you think the new party system will fix bugs of players being shown offline that were actually online? Yes, because they're sort of like doing it, tying it into real time with the website and in game, so it should just work. Hopefully, yes. How long do you think 3.9 on the PT will be delayed for? 3 weeks is what I was expecting. Thinking about it realistically, so hopefully for this Friday. But I do say that quite regularly. You're a soy boy. I do actually drink almond milk, and I like dark soy sauce. Hope that is appropriate to do. Good day, BoredGamer. Have you escaped from prison? Not IRL, and I can't discuss if I've escaped from prison in the EVOCATI patch. Maybe the feature's not there. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Who knows? It probably is. But it might not be. But it is. But it's not. Where are we? Where the fuck are we? Gone back to the potato song thing. There's currently no medium-sized science ship. Do you think there'll be the next concept ship? That would be a great excuse to tell the community what's going on with science gameplay. I would love to see a medium science ship. I suspect we will see a medium science ship in the future. I also suspect we'll see some more super modular ships like the Caterpillar, but in different configurations or slightly different focuses. Sort of like more of a modular exploration ship and a modular combat ship and a modular... So like ones you can really, really change the modules in there very, very aggressively. But yeah, science is quite important to me, but I want them to get the more basic mechanics in first. Salvage, bam, get that in. I get some of the more scanning and points of interest gameplay in, and stealth gameplay in. It's also like physicalized components. There's lots of gameplay that you can get from just having the core mechanics in the game done properly. You have boarding and looting and piracy done properly once you have physicalized components and all that sort of jazz. Thoughts on the Idris being used in the Arlington Gang mission and now the Xenothreat mission as well. So I think they have the Xenothreat missions planned already. For people that don't know, there's spoiler alert. So close your ears. I will talk about this in a video. So the Xenothreat are probably going to be coming from the Pyro system. They are sort of like anti-alien, but they're going to turn up in the Stanton system and sort of like attack areas in the Stanton system, like with a big fleet. You could do like chains of missions with them, and it looks like you'll probably have like public missions in those in the Stanton system as well to come and assist taking out like a large fleet or an Idris or whatever that the Xenothreat guys have got. But I think you have to like complete a couple of Xenothreat missions first to then be eligible to jump in to do like the big server-wide missions. But why isn't that Xenothreat mission in player hands yet? Because I think they want to have the Pyro gate first. So I suspect that even if they don't have pyro in game, in like 4.0 or 4.1 or something, they'll get the jump gate there and then have it as a place for NPC spawn lockers. So I think, was it 4.1 is planning to have the NPC scheduler. Is it 4.1 or is it 4.0? Oh, I forgot on. Got myself all confused. Where is the NPC spawn locker? NPC scheduler. Is it? No, what? NPC scheduler is in 4.0. Great. So, basically, they need a way of spawning in and out NPCs, physicalizing them, and putting back into simulation for the Quanta system, but in the shorter term, just a way of having an appropriate number of NPCs in certain areas and having them be able to get away, despawn, whatever. So, have NPCs on the ground, going through doors that players can't get through, or air shields that players can't get through, and NPCs can quantum travel away in space, but also later on they'll need to quantum travel somewhere typically, so they can quantum travel to a jump point and then disappear and appear from there. So they're like incursion points. Can't remember where I was going with this question. But expect lots of missions and interest missions and stuff like that coming this year. And the Xenothreat stuff probably coming this year. Have you had any news on the Ranger bikes? Nope, I have not. But they're pretty simple to get in game as far as I'm aware, because they're quite small. Will there ever be a way to make your own markers on the map? Yes. Well, so CIG are working on ways of sharing coordinates and sharing locational data and like being able to sell data, but also coordinate. So expect something like that in the future. Obviously, it's probably going to be UI and HUD based, or UI based is the reason that it hasn't been in game until now, as well as they need to develop a true coordinate system for a lot of this stuff, so you can save locations in a much more sensible way, especially if planets are going to be moving. So they're probably waiting for a lot of stuff to come together before we see that, but you will have something in the future, yes. When we see the glaive rework, as far as I'm aware, it's done or mostly done for Squadron 42, and they can probably put it in game. I'm not sure why they haven't put it in game for players. I know the cockpit of the Vandal ships is different from the human variants of them, so I appreciate all the love. Thank you very much. Assistance, a lot of strength, and all the best to your family. Appreciate it. Thank you. Why is it that NPCs almost always work in the PTU, but in live builds they just down there? It's to do with the degradation of servers. In PTUs, typically the servers are reset a lot more, and there's a lot better, more sort of like focused testing circumstances. But a lot of problems are with server degradation over a long period of time and server tick rates dying. Are they still trying to put better stability in for 3.9? They're trying to fix desync at the moment, is what, as far as I'm aware. Really excited for the possibility of the modules on the Carrack. Thoughts or predictions for possible modules? Obviously, we've got the cargo ones, but maybe you could have ones that would allow you to store another vehicle, or ones that are going to allow you to do some science, or ones for different types of cargo. I don't really know. I could probably have extra modules for components, maybe like one that's like a power generator module. That's what I'd actually like to see. Some extra sort of like a systems redundance shield module and a power module, things like that. Fuel system. How many jumps do you think it should take to get across the Stanton to provide a good fuel mechanic? It's going to be dependent on the ship size and what you're trying to do. So, sort of like individual single-seater fighters, and they're supposed to be deployed from characters. They are supposed to, if you use them, are supposed to be used from planet to the moons in a single sort of like planetary area, but not constantly moving around a whole solar system. You don't want to travel from planet to planet, only from moon to moon and planet to moon and that sort of like area. And then larger ships, yeah, I mean, it's fine for them to be able to travel a lot quicker using quantum, but I think it should just be inefficient to travel with a smaller ship and expensive, and potentially take a long time. I might go that. Or if it's a short time, then make it expensive to do so quantum travel, quantum fuel wise. Um, that's just my 2 cents. You want travel to be meaningful. I mean, I spent most of the time in my game playing Eve Online, traveling. I mean, it must be like 60% of my total hours in Eve, probably significantly more, traveling from system to system. As the Fleet Clara update and ED is shaping up to be a big flop, do you think more players will flock to Star Citizen and maybe boost interest for the game? Maybe. I think Star Citizen just needs to get more playable. I think Theatres of War, if done right, could bring a lot of players to the game. The Star Citizen will just get more and more and more players as time goes on, and eventually, once it gets to something that is fun and playable, then yeah, we could probably have a huge amount of players. But it's very much alpha, and it won't get a huge amount of players until after alpha. Although that said, I know that CIG get tens of thousands of unique players a day, so even at times like this. Do you think CIG will take measures to make sure 3.9's delay will not impact 4.0's release? Yeah, I mean, they're more likely to push features back to 4.1 from 4.0 if they're not going to make 4.0 on time, especially with sort of like them wanting to do CitizenCon or whatever as well, potentially for Q3-ish time, end of Q3-ish time is Q4. But, you know, we don't know. I've got a really itchy nose. I'm so sorry. But Stagger Development and the teams that were working on 4.0 shouldn't have been overly impacted by 3.9's delay. And they would have been impacted by working from home and the current global situation stuff by the same amount of time. So that could cause feature to slip. It's possible that CIG will go, we're going to make all patches this year, 3 weeks later. But that's unlikely. Do you think they will upgrade the way we build bases so we can actually build buildings, or will they stay modular? So we're building buildings with the Pioneer, different types of building and dropping them in. There might be other ways of building certain types of structures, though, in the future with like a building vehicle or something. We don't 100% know yet. What happened to those ship shape diagrams of the ship pipelines? Do they still use them internally? And why don't they share them anymore? They probably will do some ship shapes in the future again. I'd like them to share them much more often. There's not actually that many more ships to complete on the that we are aware of. You mentioned private servers. Does that mean CIG's plan is to not have the entire universe to exist on one large interconnected instance? Yes, it does. That's exactly what CIG are going to do. They originally started talking about a long time ago. They wanted the ability for players to be able to mod the game, and it was a stretch goal, and for there to be private servers. So I assume that would be private modded servers. So you could like have a Battlestar Galactica mod, and someone can have a service for that. Although the typical Amazon Web Services, Amazon Web Services stuff is you can only use their servers with a game, but I suspect that CIG have got a custom contract with them. So in the future, not soon, I would expect the ability to have mods and people to make their total conversion mods and use Star Citizen scale for a battle royale on a planet or a battle royale in a solar system, and that sort of stuff, or Battlestar Galactica or Star Trek or whatever mods, and then servers to support that. That's talking far into the future, and that's I reckon, and that's as far as I'm aware. Do you think we'll see the mission that's in the B-roll running in the background at some point? Yes, I do. They're building towards multi-part missions and missions with more sub-objectives, and you'll see that even in 3.9. Not this mission in 3.9. Do you agree with the dev's decision to focus on Squadron 42 instead of Star Citizen? Yes, I do. I mean, they need the core of the game done at some point. And within the next 18 months, I want Star Citizen. I sort of like almost demand, but I want Star Citizen to have a solid combat model and solid flight model, and be enjoyable to just do the very basics in Star Citizen and be able to do them semi-competitively in the persistent universe. And to do that, they need to really focus on the core of Squadron 42, which is most of the core of the persistent universe, the real core of ship flight, ship movement, and that sort of stuff, and traveling. Do they sell snow globes at New Balance? I maybe they will sell some flair like that there. I demand a BoredGamer bobblehead. I effectively am a human bobblehead. Thank you very much for all the kind comments. It's very much appreciated. Thank you so much. He's a baby. He's a baby. Thank you. I'm not sure I'm thanking you. I have not said that yet, but I love your face. What your family is going through is some of the most difficult things, and we can go through as human beings. I mean, it is, but it's something that we all have to go through. I'm not saying I'm not dismissing my grief and the shit I have to go through, but I'm saying that, it is something we all have to do. And yeah, I will complain and be pissy about it. I will probably at times break down or cry or be like, oh God, this is why. But I do know why. It's because it's life. It's shit. It's great at sometimes as well, but at the moment it's shit. Head with 3.9, you can change HUD colors. I can't comment on anything like that. I wouldn't expect HUD colors to be changeable properly in 3.9 live. I would hope that they would release 3.9 to Wave 1 by Friday. But I think that as soon as they get the desync solved, then it will just go immediately to Wave 1. And that could be today, but it's possible. I suspect they're having go-no-go meetings. I have said this for the last 3 weeks, though, so bear that in mind. What's your rig specs? I've got a 8700K i7 and 64 gigs of RAM, 3200 RAM, 3200 megahertz anyway. Various solid-state drives and a GeForce 2080 Ti. So pretty up there with spec. Astro Austin, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. Have I seen you before? I don't think I've seen you before. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated for the sub. I am streamer gorgeous. Thank you. Are there any updates on Theaters of War? Nope, not that I'm aware of. Beyond that, I believe Strong Tracy still wants to get it out for the first half of 2020. Have you seen the latest episode of Inforunners? Maybe. I don't think I have, actually. If so, do you agree with Execute that there is a need for a Retaliator-sized stealth ship? Okay, so with stealth stuff, I think it's fine as long as there's components that allow you to do stealth as a mechanic by using... For me, for the most part, stealth stuff is you using stealthy components, managing your systems, and managing this sort of environment to make your stealth more stealthy. Nukes are in law, I believe, and I believe we could have them in game. I think they said. I don't think I dreamt that. I'm pretty sure. Did they say they're nukes in law? Or nuclear weapons in law? I think there were. And we're going to have proper beam weapons. And when do you think I'll double check. So remember originally, I thought originally they said no nukes, and then I'm very good remember them saying, yeah, nukes are in law. When do you think we'll have a greater in-depth version of mining, like storing and refining, and the cherry on top, the Orion? So the Orion probably not for a long time. Huge ship, and not needed unless it's needed for Squadron 42. It's not really needed for the persistent universe yet. They are building out for 4.1 more things for like cargo decks and refineries and stuff like that. So you'll see more and more gameplay with 4.1 at the moment for that sort of more interesting gameplay. But it's going to be a while before they have it in the game fully for sort of like full-fledged mining that's part of a dynamic economy and proper refining. Would you play with me in game if I give my account name? Yes, I'd come on Discord and do it there. I'll be playing during the days, once 3.9 is live, assuming it's not terribly desyncy or awful. You should never regret what you do, only what you didn't. I think that you should live without guilt and regret. If you feel those things, then act on them so that you don't do them again, but then leave them. So don't feel guilty or remorseful. Don't wallow in it anyway. Go, I feel guilty about that. That means I won't do that again. Bam. Move on. Then immediately move on. I'm not going to regret the things I didn't do with my dad. I'm not going to regret the things I didn't do in my life. I'm going to try and do them. I'm going to try and, live with my father in my heart. And sort of quite genuinely. I'm going to try to continue his legacy. So my dad, he's probably the most dutiful, one of the most honourable people I've ever known that existed. My dad worked all his life for his family for not very much money, day in, day out. He was a good man, and a family man and a loving father. Although he's not very good at communicating emotion, he is genuinely someone that is. I don't know how you can match him in the modern world, sort of thing. People aren't like that anymore. I'm glad that I had him have him as my father. When do you think we will see more on the Ranger bike? We could see more by the end of the year. Would you accept the position of Master Chief on my Idris? Is that the highest level you can get as a non-commissioned officer, Master Chief? I will happily join you, Adrian, on your capital ship. I'd love to. I'd love to do some multi-crew. Do you think they will add pilot weapons to the Carrack? Will they change one of the lifts to go to the ground level? So, going to the ground level is very interesting you say that, because I don't think it needs it, but I would like the sort of like Carrack lift there to be able to go to the ground. And that would be really fucking useful. Really easy entry and access. Pilot guns. Supposed to be flied multi-crew. I'd like it so that you could potentially slave those turrets or a lot of the guns to just fire forward from the pilot seat. Okay, and I'd like that for a lot of ships. When they introduce capital ships like the Idris, will we be able to missile lock individual systems on the capital ship like engines or weapons? They are working towards that. We will be able to do that in the future. Will AI ramming be addressed in 3.9? So, according to the roadmap, pathfinding and collision avoidance is in there for AI. So, they should no longer ram into things and players and each other and that sort of stuff. Have to wait and see if that's true. Oh, Super Mac Brothers, thank you so much for the raid. And Easy Ace, thank you very much for the sub. Oh, SMB, thank you. That's very much appreciated, you sexy Britishman, you. Have you had a good stream? Hope you're doing well. Jin Catrall, yes, at least in the US Navy, the highest enlisted rank is Master Chief Petty Officer. Yes, indeed. That makes sense. I play a lot of World War II, sort of like computer games. Hearts of Iron. A lot of Hearts of Iron at quite a micro level. When do you think the hangar module will be fixed? I think they're going to be moving away from the hangar module entirely. And have it in-game soon. People are sending me money. They sleep. You're a suppository of... Oh, you're a suppository of all Starset's knowledge. Isn't that something you put up your ass? Like a tablet. You mean depository? No, you did mean suppository, didn't you? Thanks. Thanks to sleep. It's such a backhand donation. Fuck. Any idea when ship storage and weapon racks are likely to work? They are working towards physicalized inventory now. You'll see in 3.9 they're building towards it with the personal inner thought system, and even with prisons they're sort of like getting rid of your inventory for stuff. So you'll start to see proper physicalized inventory probably by the end of this year is my expectation, and like working ship storage and ship racks. I fly typically with a mouse and keyboard. I do have a Verpal Constellation Delta HOTAS, and it is amazing. I've used a huge amount of HOTASes and sticks. It is by far my favourite. Can confirm you should buy. Fuel system, how many jumps do you think it should take to get across the Stanton? I've talked about that earlier. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing alright, thank you very much. Given the current ship modules are not modular, why would a new ship be modular? I think they'll just do modular ships in the future. I think we'll see lots of that. And I think they're going to be working towards more modular things in the future as well. But I think you'll see modular gameplay being a focus once they've got a lot of the core systems out of the way. So I was hoping this year, but I think it's more likely next year, sort of the second half of next year. I would expect sort of like modular changes for ships, modular components, sort of like the Redeemer and the Retaliators modules, the Caterpillars modules, things like that. Any word on them changing how cooldowns will last when selling drugs or narcotics? I regret buying this much slam because it takes you months and months to get to sell it, and hours and hours or whatever. Yeah, so eventually there's going to be cargo decks and times associated with loading and unloading cargo, which will sort of like mitigate the need for you to cool down press. You sell like 200 SEU at a time. That's going to be in the future, probably for 4.1. You'll start to see stuff like that. It's obviously the economy needs a load of work. It's very placeholder at the moment. What would you think about a function in the group system, the one that's similar to your party, that makes the members accepted from criminal penalty? Yes, so Deja Vu fan, yes. So you want your members to be able to set the ability to go forgiveness for committing crimes against any of the other group members' ships or individuals or property or whatever. Yeah, that's going to be a thing. Have you done much trading with the character? No, I have not. And what's your favourite route at the moment? I have no fucking clue about 3.8.2 anymore. I will... I can't remember what I was trading. Last thing I was doing is doing lots of mining in 3.8.2. Any word on base building? Not really. Beyond Chris Roberts talking in Pillar Talk about homesteads. I'm sort of like briefly mentioning that they're working towards like full persistence and the iCache, which will eventually enable homesteads and player bases. Is it possible for you to make a video on bug workarounds and stuff? Yeah, I'll do it with 3.9. I'll happily do a best practices for Star Citizen performance and bug fixing guide or something. Will there be a TP famine in game at any time? Probably. The devs might are humoured in such a way to do something like that. Do you think they should have a difference between the Vandal ships built by humans and the human ships built by Vandal? And the ships built by Vandal in general? Yeah, there are differences. The cockpits are different. The human variants of the Vandal ships are built for human-sized people. Do you think the Star Runner will go on sale when 3.9 is released? No. It'll go on sale at some point, and when 4.1 is released, when it's supposed to come out. Will armor lockers work? We've talked about items and armor a minute ago. How do you feel about the progress or lack of with planets on Black Crusader. It's supposed to be in 4.0. I hope it still is in 4.0. If you buy an upgrade for a ship and don't use it, if the ship you wanted to upgrade to comes out and is more expensive, does the upgrade work? The upgrade works, and the value of your ship when you try and upgrade it again is the value of the ship that's upgraded to. If you melt the ship, it's the value of the ship that you've paid for in its entirety. So if you spent $100 on a ship in total, you can melt it for 100. But it might be worth 400 or the same value as like a Carrack or something. And the upgrade system, you can just upgrade it from whatever ship to whatever ship. It doesn't really matter. Do you see what I mean? On what capital ship would you prefer to be a Master Chief? I don't know. I mean, like, I'm really, really excited about the Javelin. I have a Javelin, though. I don't think I have an Idris. And maybe the Idris just because I want to use someone else's Idris. I'm very sorry I yawned. I'm very tired. I don't sleep much at the moment. It's a lot hotter than I expected it to be. I'm sort of worried about my dad. My dad hid my razor and put it somewhere. I think he thought it was his. My beard trimmer. You know if the beginner packages that include Squadron 42 will ever have a sale again? I would expect them to have a sale again potentially. This sort of like CitizenCon / Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, so between October and end of November. You might see some sale stuff. I think it was just a clever way of calling me an arsehole, calling me the suppository of all Star Citizen knowledge. What else have we got here? Yeah, so 30k errors are just the server crashing or the client disconnecting from the server. Basically, and it's a umbrella term for everything that falls under that. Has there been any word on when we might be getting our own viable land plots or be able to start making our own bases? No, there's not. They need the iCache before we have our own bases, though, and they are working on that for this year, iCache and full persistence as well. Land claim gameplay might be in significantly sooner than we think, than you might think, but probably not the base building mechanics. Not for a while, base building. What keeps you still interested and engaged in this game when there's bare minimum gameplay mechanics and it still seems it will never come out, and it still seems it will never come out of alpha? So I'm sort of like more interested in the project than the game at this stage. I play the game for a little while. I jump in and get involved with other people's orgs and stuff when they do like these planned events, and that's really fun. But it's the project. It's the sort of like constant news that Star Citizen brings out. It's the development of mechanics. It's the tracking down of bugs. It's seeing how the community reacts to certain things. It's the lawsuits. It's the drama as well as the successes and the constant fundraising. Also, I've geared my YouTube channel around it. And it's what my audience expects to cover it, so I will keep on covering it. Hey, Bored, was checking out EVE the other day. How is it that all the players are in the same game, but Star Citizen there's a player cap? Okay. So EVE gets around massive ship combat by having time dilation. So if you're having a huge battle, it can be like 1,000 times slower than normal. So that's an interesting way of dealing with it. So Star Citizen has to be real time, and at the moment, Star Citizen very much alpha, and they're just sort of building towards having proper network tech and stuff that they need, like server meshing. So you'll see significant improvements to player counts on servers within the next year or so, with hopefully server meshing coming out early 2021. Static server meshing, more like midway, I suppose, through 2021 is the sort of goal at the moment, I think. when we'll be able to have NPC crew, they need to build the AI out to be able to support that. I would expect to see AI turrets and AI blades before we see NPC crew to hire. At some point, we'll have to hire NPC crew, but we don't know when yet. Any word on in-ship spawning? You will see it in 4.0 or 4.1, I believe is the plan. I can't remember on the confirmation of which one it is at the moment. But it's in 4.0 or 4.1. At least that's the plan, I believe. What will science gameplay entail? Science gameplay is an umbrella term for a huge amount of stuff. So it's the tracking down of certain types of points of interest. It's overclocking individual components permanently by tweaking them with a certain particle accelerator thing. It's farming. It's creating data, valuable data, and research information from other materials or exploration stuff. It's potentially creating compounds and narcotics and drugs and stuff like that. It's a huge amount of different things. It crosses over into exploration. It crosses over into medical, and crosses over into lots of stuff, manufacture. So you'll see bits of this come online separately, and then be built into the mechanic, and then eventually you'll go, oh, science mechanic. It's a long way out, science. Do you feel a ship skin makes it a unique hull? No, I don't classify a change in loadout or a change in skin a new ship. However, Ares Ion and Ares Thingamajig Inferno, they are integrated guns into the hull, so barely a different named ship. What are the plans for exploration? I would love to stumble across people, fauna, random exploring, even without any information. So, as far as I'm aware, there's going to be lots more points of interest that you can find and discover and be signposted to, or things might happen where you're quantum traveling around. But you'll have deeper scanning mechanics, which will potentially lead you to discovering more points of interest out in solar systems as you're flying around, and that will allow you to do a lot of sort of like the exploration gameplay mechanics. There'll be stuff to find on planets. There'll be plants and animals to discover. There'll be jump points and wormholes. There'll be anomalies. There's a huge amount of stuff, and it all sort of like ties into exploration, but also like surveying, saving locational information, selling data. It's exploration is such a big blanket term for a lot of stuff. You feel let's talked about that. Tack spotlights haven't been working for a while, and other ships' headlights aren't working. Is it a visual bug? Any plans to fix it? They've been working on lighting for lots of the different ships. I suspect it's on their list of things to fix. Any recommended weapons that eat through ships quickly in a 325A? You don't use mass drivers. Ballistic repeaters are probably pretty strong at the moment. I was using mass drivers up until very recently, so. Is Benny Hengen 3.8? Yeah, it should still be in 3.8. I got some video of me being at Benny Hengen 3.8, I think. It was a joke, not an insult. Love your face. Thank you very much for the sleep. I know, mate. You're a good chap. Do you think the Mercury Star Runner will grow to the size of a Connie after we saw a sneak peek of it last week? Yeah, it looked pretty big, didn't it? The Mercury Star Runner looks pretty big. Let me see if I've got a picture available of it. I do. The Mega Star Runner. Pretty big, doesn't it? That constellation size? Almost. Yeah, so that's around constellation size, and it's pretty big, isn't it? Big old ship now, the Mega Star Runner in white box. And they might tweak it a bit more, but he's a big boy. He's a big boy. You are. What do you expect for 4.2.0? I don't know. Really, I need to see what they get in for 4.1. So 4.2 will be the last patch of the year. I'd hope by that time they have physical for 4.2, or by that time we have physical inventory, physical components, and the physical damage system. Don't think we'll have server meshing. I think that's a next year thing, but everything leading up to server meshing should be done. Pyro system. Lots of missions associated with that. I'd like to see salvage. I think that's the makings of a pretty good patch right there. Oh yeah, so some dynamic mission and dynamic economy stuff. If you want to see the start of that, and that was moved from 3.9. That's probably pretty important. And like with that, I'd like an accountancy app that will allow me to transfer money from player to player, things like that. When Crusader is introduced, does that mean that volumetric cloud tech will be added at the same time? So the gas giant cloud tech, at least in some form, will be implemented, but different types of cloud tech are used for different things. Different from weather, different from fog, different from the stuff they use for nebula and points of interest and the coil. All sort of different and tweaked. When sandworms, we don't have a timescale on Layer 3 and sandworms. Soon, 8 = 6. It's probably not soon, unfortunately. They're not actually sandworms, they're caterpillars. They're giant, and then they become giant mothras. Or butterfly ras. What are the plans for exploration? We talked about that already. Do you think we'll get active camouflage tech? No. I'm pretty sure CIG are against sort of like button press stealth. For like active stealth. Why do... Oh, is it passive stealth? You know what I mean. You have to... Stealthiness is you managing your ship systems, not turning on active camouflage. Why do they call the Carrack Expedition a variant? Oh, because they do. They're monsters. I don't count anything that is just a skin change or just a loadout change without the hull being different or forced to use it as a variant. When Crusader is... Oh, I lost it. When Crusader is introduced, does that mean... I've talked about that. Do you believe we will see new Vandal ships in-game before Squadron 42 release? Yes. I do. I think we'll see the updated Vandal ships in-game as well. Are there NPCs running around in 3.9 doing some support? 4.0 has more of the NPC updates for FPS side of things. I would hope that 3.9's social NPCs and FPS NPCs are in a better state than they are in 4.0, in 3.8. I didn't understand what would be the bug functionality added for 4.0 as they removed multi-crew from the... What? See? They're working on multi-crew stuff at the moment. From patch to patch, you'll see better and better multi-crew stuff, especially with the UI updates. Do you think they will ever add queues to ICU beds? I think there might be a queue system for that sort of stuff and a respawn button and choose where to respawn. I do. Do you think the Carrack canopy will work like the Prowler cockpit? Oh, maybe. So for people that don't know, the Prowler's cockpit is armored, and basically you can see through it one way, and you turn it on. Sort of like the cameras on the outside that allows you to see through it is the idea. But yeah, something like that would probably work well with the Carrack as well, with its armor coming up. Do you think they just talked about that? Should there be a giant Godzilla-sized monster that can fight in Star Citizen? Yes. The Sandworm Caterpillar. There'll probably be some silly stuff in the game. I mean, there's going to be... It looks like there might be space whales. Do you think we'll see Squadron 42 this year? I think we'll see some more Squadron 42 this year. I think it might be a focus of CitizenCon. I don't think it's going to be released this year anymore. Any idea when the Xi'an or Banu will make an appearance in the PTU? So Xenothreat seem to mention the Xi'an quite a lot. It's interesting. I don't really know. I'm not sure when we're going to see those other aliens running around in game, but we don't even have humans running around properly yet. So, why are you such a sexy space captain? I just style myself to be the best and truest me I can be. Yet, 2020 is not likely to happen for Squadron 42. What is the plan for hangars now? I'm intrigued, as I'm pretty sure they took them off sale on the Pledge store. So eventually we're supposed to be able to have physicalized hangars. There's going to be rentable hangars, physicalized hangars, also like sort of like more common public hangars as well, like the sort of landing zones. We need to see where CIG take that in the next few patches. And once we sort of like have our iCache and full persistence, I think they'll start talking a lot more about what their plans are for physicalized hubs, physicalized hangars. What do you think is this Xenothreat all about, and what does it lead up to? So Xenothreat stuff looks like it's going to be in game once we have the Pyro system, or at least the entrance to Pyro system. That's going to have the jump point to Pyro. It's going to be regular incursions from, at least it looks like to me, and from what I understand, from Xenothreat, a sort of outlaw organization that hate alien influencing and alien influences to the UEE and humanity. And they're going to come along and they're going to do have presences in Stanton system, and the Civil Defense Force are going to have missions for you to sort of like find them, take them out, and then big server-wide missions to take out fleets of them and Idrises and stuff that they own. Some cool stuff. Org 2.0 when? So they are building a lot of this stuff now. It's obviously very slowly, but the Unified Friends list is a step towards that, which we're getting in 3.9. How do you, BoredGamer? Good. Thank you very much. Love the channel, Board. Watch every episode. I lost my dad to cancer in January. I'm so sorry for your loss, mate. I'm genuinely sorry for your loss, Neil. So wish you and your family all the love in the world. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. It's genuinely appreciated. The other major pillars besides iCache, full persistence, and server meshing. Yeah, the Orgs 2.0. It's sort of like there's quite a lot of pillars, really, and when you think about it. It's the ones they identify. Like, really, like the true pillar is good ship combat. An MMO type gameplay. More players on server. That's server meshing. Is it better to use a railgun or a missile launcher on a pirate? I like both railgun and missile launcher. I mean, if you're shooting a person, the railgun. Why is Gamora? Gamora! What will happen if server meshing does not work? Abandoned project? Question mark? There is a lot of resting on server meshing. There is a lot resting on server meshing, indeed. So, if server meshing didn't work as intended, they'd try and tweak it to work as intended, and then they'd do the next best option. That's literally it. They might have to split the servers down into region. They might have to have ways of artificially having servers, having certain amounts of players in certain areas. They might have to have loading screens. But they would use the next best thing. They wouldn't abandon the project. But they almost certainly will have to do it in the way that they want, because that's what they're building towards. It's not like an undefeatable task. Do you think there will be ways for players with only light fighters to make money in 3.9? Yeah, you can do bounties with a light fighter, yeah. So the current sort of size of CIG staff is 600. And not all of that is devs. I think it's, what is it, 480-ish devs, I think? Might be more than that. Might be 520. It's not all devs, but it's largely devs. And there's obviously lots of different disciplines, from concept art to netcode dudes. Should vision be upgradable or deteriorating like eyeglasses or plastic surgery? You're going to have debuffs your sight. Sort of like things that are happening to you based on thirsty or too hot or whatever. Or it's going to be flashbangs and stuff that affect you. You shouldn't see sort of like permanent degeneration of sight in your character in game. That would be annoying as fuck. What do you hope to see for the next year? Squadron 42 release is the main thing. Multiple systems, so not just Pyro. I'd like to see Nyx as well, and then building towards the Odin system. Even potentially even the Nyx and Odin system next year. That would be great. Proper dynamic economy starting to come in. Server meshing. That'd be amazing. Do you think there will be permanent injuries, like taking a bullet to the knee and your movement becomes hindered long term? Yes, but not permanent. I think you'll be able to get them treated in hospital. I do think that you will see semi-permanent scars unless you get treated them as well from when you like die or get heavily injured. But you'll probably be able to remove them or pay money to have them removed. In-game money. I'm not talking about real money. Has CIG given any sort of roadmap or for which star systems will be developed first? No. There is no indication directly from CIG beyond the assumption that they're building towards the Odin system by me and lots of other people now as well. So, Danton, Pyro, we know they're working on Pyro. Oh, thank you very much, Rad. I loved exclamation marks. I love money as well. Thank you very much, Rad. Oh, thank you, Star. Appreciate it. You would have sent me lots of random money today. Thank you. Genuinely appreciated. But yeah, so you'll probably see scars and stuff like that on you. Oh no, I went back to my previous question. That was weird. My brain jumped backwards. It's because I'm tired. Apologies. Yeah, so it's likely, because we know they're going to the Pyro system next, that Nyx is likely next because it's connected to the Pyro system, and they've already done Delamar, or Levski, which is in the standard system at the moment, which is part of the Nyx system. They're actually pop it in the Nyx system, and then they've got the Odin system, which is connected to the Nyx system, which is the Odin system is going to be featuring heavily, if not entirely, in Squadron 42. You know what I mean. Possibly they go different routes, or they can connect the star systems however they want in the short term and then change it later, but it seems reasonable they do that. I love the arrow. When we get more hairstyles and beards for our characters, they are working on that. They are working on hair tech, and they are working on more variations to characters at the moment. Should ports experience lockdowns so you get trapped or can't get in temporarily, like a snowstorm or viral outbreak? Yeah, I think they might do some stuff like that and sort of like artificially restrict access to them, only allow you to potentially leave. Maybe they'll lock you down so it's hard to get out and things like that. I don't want to be out of the game, locked in an area that's not prison, and then just, like, not be able to do anything. So as long as there's ways around certain stuff like that, I'll be okay with it. Ballistic repeaters are probably pretty good. Potentially ballistic cannons. Well, I will do a meta update. I don't actually know the meta for 3.9 yet. So. I appreciate you're losing weight. I think I've been quite naughty recently, actually. I'm going to dash off in a minute because I've ordered my parents fish and chips. One of the things they said is your dad will do very well in the short to medium term. The fatter you make him, basically, the more fat and the more sort of like food you feed him, make him healthy as possible, sort of thing. Which is, I know it's going to be rough, the shit that we're going to have to do through my dad. But I'm glad I've got hopefully a reasonable amount of time to spend with him before that. And hopefully, like, they've given him a load of steroids so that he's pretty competent again now. He couldn't get out of bed a week ago, but these steroids have reduced the swelling so much that he's mostly himself now. He's a bit derpy compared to normal. He's got no strength in any of his limbs. He can still move around-ish. He gets like stuck on like seats and can't get out of bed sometimes, so I have to hoist him out of bed or whatever. Or the nurse does. It's not all me. It's not all me doing all of this. That would be absolutely how I'm good at giving care to my brother. But my brother is hemiplegic, and he's sort of like more actively able to pull up on me, and I can hoist and move him around, and he tells me what he wants and that sort of stuff. With my dad, he doesn't communicate, sometimes can't communicate, and is stubborn / doesn't have the strength, which so it's hard. So we got nurses, we got helping carers and stuff. Wouldn't be able to do it without them. Like I do, it would be hell. On the Hex Tool demo, we saw a jump point from Sol. Will humans spawn from Earth? What? Huh? What? What? Huh? Do you think there will be cybernetic upgrades? I think visually, I think you'll be able to get aesthetics, which allow you to do that. I don't think they've decided on whether or not you'll be able to get actual augmentations of your character that are, I suppose, semi-permanent for that sort of thing, but that give upgrades. I wouldn't expect them. We sort of briefly talked about, well, maybe if you got injured, they'd replace your arm with a cybernetic, and then there might be some downsides to that. So I have to wait and see. I don't think it's been fully decided there. Will dismemberment ever be a thing? I doubt it. You can destroy limbs, but that literally means the way they're treated. Sort of like the highest tier of damage to a limb is destroyed, which then requires sort of like high-level medical treatment, and you can't use the limb basically. But literally chopped off, I don't think so. They're not going to want overly gory stuff either. They are going to. That's why one of the reasons they have children in game. They avoid that, so the game is more appealing to a wider audience, as it were. They don't have to restrict it by age too much. They're not only focusing on Squadron 42 this year. They are mostly focusing on Squadron 42 and core transferable features. But there is teams that literally work on Persistent Universe missions and tasks and stuff. Any updates on Gravlev coming soon? Not that they've talked about openly. I would expect tweaks to Gravlev and literal ground vehicles in the not too distant future. What is the current status on planetary orbits? We know they want them in game, but they haven't talked much about them recently. How would you feel for CIG to add fauna and characteristics and not tell us about it so that we discover it ourselves? Eventually, I totally want that. First implementations of stuff during alpha, I mean, they could do that, but I prefer them to tell us about what they're doing at the earliest possible stage. But when they're getting closer to release and everything, I think it's more and more like they're going to want to keep some of this stuff secret, or there's going to be so much that it's more relevant. Someone else host me? What? Huh? Thanks for hosting the stream. What? What's going on? What? From Super Mac Brothers stream? Thank you for the money, Wookie. Whatever. I appreciate it. When are we going to get compass or direction for basic exploration? So they are working on a coordinate system. They've obviously been able to start to break through a load of the bottleneck they had with UI stuff at the moment, with the new building block systems. They're looking at navigation, how players are going to navigate, to what sort of level. Will it be rolling down from star map all the way to ground? Will you have a mini-map? Will you have coordinates? Will you be able to ping things? Will it be a compass? They are looking into that stuff. There will be ways of navigating. Don't know when we're getting it, though. Obviously, I think it's super important at core to have it as soon as possible. But you will also be able to share locational data and mark points and save points and things. Do you think we could see missions like the 890 jump mission fight an atmosphere? Yes. You will start to see things like that. And you'll start to see NPC reinforcements in missions and missions that cross the ground and the space and space stations and all that sort of jazz. The economy system demo on the last CitizenCon saw humans coming from Sol system. Saw them coming from Pyro. Did I see them coming from Sol? I thought it was the Pyro system. What will the pros be of base building? Well, we'll be forced to rent apartments in major landing zones to spawn there. So you'll be able to rent apartments, and you'll be able to. I'm not sure if you'll be able to own them. Certainly be able to rent them in large areas in the future. They want physicalized, addressed apartments as well. That's the plan. I suspect there's more common, sort of like public apartments, as well as the more sort of like more expensive ones that players can have there if they want to make that their permanent home. What will be the pros of base building? You get to exploit the resources of the area. You can build different types of buildings with the Pioneer, so like ones that are more mining type facilities or whatever. It's to protect and exploit. Cooking system or something, maybe in the future. They've got kitchens and stuff on ships. There's obviously food mechanics. We'll have to see, actually. I'd like a little crafty cooking system. That'd be cool. I finished my upgrade path to the Carrack last year. I also have a cutlass. If you had the cash, would you upgrade the cutlass to the Prowler? If I was really interested in doing dropship gameplay and had players and an orc that was interested in doing that, and they needed a Prowler, then maybe. Because Carrack's sort of like super multi-role, so I don't need the cutlass. But if you don't want to do dropship gameplay, then keep the cutlass, because the cutlass is really, really multi-role. Should the matter of the game eventually shift to a state where it takes you a while to earn your first spaceship and you have to do a Shenmue forklift job to afford it? I think there is going to be lower tier missions that will allow you to rent ships. So like if you've like run out of ships or you've something gone terribly wrong in your game. So maybe filling vending machines, maybe mopping, maybe cleaning stations, maybe repair jobs on stations and that sort of stuff. I know that CIG have talked about them internally, those sort of quests and missions. In 4.0, they plan to update Grimhex. What are they planning to do? So they're planning to open up proper large-scale hangars there. So you can sort of store your ship there, not just on the landing pads, but in proper hangars. And basically turn it into a proper landing zone. So there might be different shops and little updates. It's sort of like half-finished as Grimhex. They want to have a scramble race there as well that actually starts in Grimhex, I believe. And you go around Destruction Derby style spaceship fighting. I'm new to the game. I don't really see reasons for earning money in game. Is there some new content like base building or something? No, you can buy ships in game and you can rent ships in game and buy items in game, and they will persist to 3.9 the next patch. And they might persist to 4.0. They are going to do resets sometimes, but they're trying to do them as few and far between as possible. You need to experience it before you put in more money. I indeed see. Oh.
So many spaceships.
Fish and chips on me, bro.
Oh, thank you very much, Jochri. Thank you very much for the. Oh. Thank you very much for the donation. Fish and chips on me, bro. Oh, appreciate it. I will tell my parents that you paid for the fish and chips. Oh, you star. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, you star. So Moist Noodle, who's one of my good mates, he does a lot of PvP and non-consensual PvP gameplay. It's sort of like he's a proper sort of like combat pilot. His stream buys him so much food. He has a little thing on his stream that you can buy him food, and he just gets ridiculous amounts of money. I think I helped start it, but maybe I need to do it on my channel. Although I'm on a diet, so that would be a bad idea. And maybe me and Zin. So me and Zin have been talking about having sort of like pairing wine and cider and stuff to the gameplay and drinking while we play. Maybe we'll do some silly stuff. I want to get as involved with the community as possible. That's super important to me. Have like a nice board gamer community that people can get involved with and people can play with, people feel comfortable watching, and sharing their sort of like opinions, whatever they are, or to an extent. Don't maybe not whatever they are, but feel safe to share a civil opinion civilly without getting like shat on. Should the moby glass be optional? Oh no, I think that's core to the game and your vitals. I think different types of moby glass should be fine. Should allow you to do a bit more though. Been watching you a long time. Thank you very much appreciated. I think there will ever be able to sell. Do you think we will ever be able to sell all these weapons we pick up during the bunker and 890 missions? Yes. But you might have to sell them to junk places, or you might not get as much for them as you wanted because they're like illegal pirate gear. But yes, we should be able to sell all that stuff eventually. So scrapyards are certainly going to be catering for stolen items and ships eventually. You'll be able to like sell your stolen ship there for a fraction of its cost, but still a reasonable amount of money. And gear and stuff that you've stolen off people, they'll reuse it. I would expect that, it's the same with the stuff that you've got from pirates. Maybe you won't be able to sell it to a normal store because it was stolen in the first place. But probably sell it to scrapyards again. Do you think your parents will actually understand what you do for a living, or is it all a mystery internet stuff to them? So probably to my dad, it's a bit weird and like, you're always making money. Is he doing that? Is he selling his body or something? My mum actually watches me. I don't think she knows how to comment on videos, but hi mum. My mum definitely watches me. I occasionally come downstairs and she's watching one of my videos. And I go, Mum, that's weird. You don't even understand what's going on. She's like, guys, really great. So is it like real people playing the game? Some of them are NPCs. What? And they're aliens. No, they're all human. Well, those are aliens. What do you mean? Why are you impressed with this? Just, people playing all this game together from around the world? I was like, oh my god. I've been doing this for like, since I was 13, I've been playing games, Mum. Any update on the Squadron 42 roadmap updates? No, not yet. Obviously, they are finding a new way of conveying the roadmap to us. It's obviously very important that they do updates on Squadron 42 stuff. We'll still see monthly reports for Squadron 42 at the moment, and hopefully they do occasionally weekly sort of updates with the roadmap roundup in the short term. Thank you very much for all the questions. I'm just going to have a quick look. I'm looking forward to trying out Valorant. It might be terrible, I might not like it. I mean, DC seem to like it a bit. Green Hell I want to play. And probably some more board games on Tabletop Simulator in the short term. Obviously, Star Citizen in general. I'm desperately looking forward to 3.9. What's your op on when upgrade parts will be added to your ships permanently? I've noticed when the ship game crashes, new parts are gone. It was supposed to be when you've changed the parts of your ship, they're saved. Now that is supposed to be what's happening. I'm hoping that that's working for 3.9. Do you think CIG will start to do updates every 4 months instead of every 3? No, I think they do it every 3 months, and there's just going to occasionally be patches that they get late. That would be my expectation. Question for you: if you were to build a computer rig for this game, when would you start building? Think it should be closer to release? Yes, closer to release. If it's for this game and not for participating in the alpha part of the game, then I'd build it much closer to release. Or check out Shadow. Bam! Shield Shadow. Shadow Shield. That's sort of like subscription-based cloud service that you can use the power of the internet to stream better computers to yours. And there is a waiting list for certain areas. So, any recent word on Titan suits? Nope. Totally dark about Titan suits at the moment. I'm hoping we see them soon. Any changes to stealth ships in 3.9?
is stealth worth it? So for a while, stealth isn't going to be in-game properly. They need to get physicalized components. They need more environmental things going on. They need scanners and radars to be upgraded and tweaked so that it's all about the management of your systems, management of the environment, management of your ship and your scanners and sensors. And then it's sort of like competing against the two. And obviously, let's do some e-warfare on the side of that as well. But short term, the stealth mechanics aren't going to be great. Longer term, they'll be a really important part of the game. I'm looking forward to the scanner updates. I think they've still got planned for this year. Am I bored like my name suggests? Occasionally. I'm a erratic bipolar gamer. I don't think I had the same sort of thing. Originally, the channel was supposed to cover board games. But I also, get bored. I get easily bored. I worry about being bored. It's my main fear. My main day-to-day fear. I have a crippling fear of death as well. What happened to the Newtonian physics? Are we ever going to see true decoupled and persistence of momentum when ship engines are off? Probably not, Jerry Kill. So they've basically said fun and sort of like whatever their flight model evolves into trumps real. So there's some stuff that's realistic and there's some stuff that's sort of like based on real physics a bit. But no, we don't have proper Newtonian physics. We don't have ships. When you stop your engines, you start to slow down and shit. Like this, it's not true physics. It's not true true momentum and stuff. I'm actually I'm okay with it being fun over sort of like the true Newtonian physics personally, but some people might not be. What is your what is the expectations by the end of the year? How close to alpha for alpha? Star Citizen is an alpha now. People might say it's pre-alpha. It's alpha. Squadron 42 drop. I think they could be optimistically by the end of the year. I think they could have their feature complete beta almost ready now. But we'll have to see. I am going to dash though. No, we don't have an exact 3.9 timeline. We're still waiting for first wave PTU at the moment, which is a real big shame. I desperately want to get some comments. I desperately want to get some comments on some videos. No, I desperately want to like and subscribe. I desperately want to get in and play some games, make some videos on it. Yeah, I'm annoyed that I'm EVOCATI because I can't talk about the EVOCATI patch specifically. I'll do content on it. But I want to get in the 3.9 and make some videos on it now. It's like dragging on now. I'm bored. But yes, thank you very much for watching. Very much appreciated. I do love all your faces. I'm going to dash off now and get some food. Actually, fish and chips should be arriving in 10 minutes. I'm going to check on my parents. I will pass on the love. Thank you very much to Jockey, to Wookie Rage, Brad, for the sleep, to Super Mac Brothers for doing a huge raid. The sleep for giving me lots and lots and lots of money. To all the people that followed and subscribed, very much appreciated. Astro Austin, Easy Ace. That's not a name of someone, that's me just coughing. And no, I'm not ill, I don't think. Thank you so much for the views and the money and, joining me. We will go and host someone. Let's see who is around. Twitch. I'm hoping that very, 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 very soon we'll have 3.9 on wider PTU, and I'll be able to make some content, and then I'll be like, ha, I told you it would be coming out this year. Moist Noodle. I was talking about Moist Noodle earlier, so we'll go and host him. He is pretty good at doing some combats. Does a lot of PvP. I want to actually start do some content with him. So give him some love. I think some people think he's a bit of a troll or a griefer, but he's not. He's not a griefer. I love him. Raid Moist Noodle. But thank you very much for watching, guys. You take care. I will drop the link actually in here as well. No, broke. No, good. Yes. Thank you very much. I do appreciate the love of face. If you have any feedback that you'd like to give me on anything, or topics you'd like me to cover, or you want to play Star Citizen 3.9 when it comes out, you can jump into my Discord. You can contact me at contact@boredgamer.co.uk. Send me an email. I'm pretty responsive to comments and emails, especially when they're addressed to me. What else? If you want to help support the channel further, there's direct donations, there's Patreon, there's YouTube members join button, all down below. All of that really helps, but it's sort of like commenting on videos, sharing the videos, talking to me, giving me feedback, joining me for the streams, all that sort of stuff really genuinely helps. If you are able to reach out to another fellow human being and you've got spare time just to say hello to them, check on, make sure they're doing all right, if they are currently locked down or in isolation, or you're worried about them or whatever, please do. It's good to reach out, good to create some social groups, good to get some game groups on the go, play board game simulator, tabletop simulator together, play Star Citizen, bam, do that. I think that will help. And if you are really, really suffering, or even suffering a little bit yourself, and you're like, oh my god, I'm lonely, or it's getting to you, because it's hard to be in lockdown and not see people at work or whatever. And sometimes that's most of the social gameplay that people get. Make sure you reach out yourselves as well. Don't be ashamed to do that. I mean, do it. Do it. Thanks so much for watching. Love your faces. You take care. Peace out and bye.